You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, our family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. We never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights, we're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own two hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can, we're Americans.
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Now, here's Grouchy.
Woo! We got the glass tonight. Good evening, everybody. Great to be back with you. It is a thunder rumbling night down here on the Gulf Coast. Storms rolling through. It's summertime still, 90 degrees today. Beautiful day. Glad you're with me. Let's see. What do we got tonight? We got, you just finished listening to a best of Fubar, Sam and Road Beer. And you got me now. And then you've got Jesse's POV. And then we have the Stafford Voice. And then America Off the Rails tonight. It is a fantastic night to be right here on KLRN Radio. It's still summertime. There's no new TV. And even if there was, Wednesday night TV has always sucked. You're much better off here. So we're going to start the night off tonight with Gam Gam. Yeah, Granny Hillary. You know, of all the ridiculous excuses that could possibly be given to explain why she couldn't win the 2016 presidential election, probably the most ridiculous reason has to be that she's now saying that the national media favored Donald Trump. And it's not just her. I'm sorry, what was that? Was that Hillary's lie meter? Yeah, absolutely. But this is how ridiculous it is. It's gotten to the point where this claim is so dumb that they've had to double down on it so that they don't look dumb, and they've opened this new, we'll just call it a media outlet called Verrit. Peter Dow, the sniveling little puppy that can't stop following Hillary, has launched Verrit, which he said was specifically because the media treated her so unfairly. Now, the easiest way to just sit back and look at this and get a chuckle out of it, put this picture in your mind, okay? The Clinton-loving media greet the ludicrous insult as very credible and worth considering. NBC's Today Show just nodded along. Clinton unspooled her guilt trip in a video interview with Ezra Klein for the leftist site Vox. She claimed, "We didn't control the media environment the same way the right does." Call it the vast right-wing conspiracy 2.0. She did the exact same thing during the Monica Lewinsky mess. She blamed the right And Bill Clinton always blamed the press when things went sour. Then she really unloaded. She said, Ezra, when you get 32 minutes in a whole year to cover all your policy points, how does that work? That refers to the study by the Tyndall Report that said that ABC, CBS, and NBC evening news programs provided only 32 minutes of stories solely on policy, as opposed to campaign stories that mentioned the candidates' daily talking points on policy. You know, it's probably not crazy to say that the media focused more on the personalities and the outrageous statements, just as Clinton's own commercials did, but it's simply Clintonian disingenuous to state that policy drew 32 minutes of coverage in 11 months. She also complained in her book that many in the media, quote, can't bear to face their own role in helping elect Trump, from providing him free airtime to giving my emails 3 times more coverage than all the issues affecting people's lives combined. The footnote for this joke of a statement is an embarrassingly terrible study from Harvard University Berkman Klein Center for Internet and Society. Its press sample included blogs and tweets and was judged by a computer, not actual humans. A Media Research Center study of stories from January 1st, 2016 to the day before the election found that the network evening newscast devoted more than twice as much time to Trump's controversies than to Clinton's. About half of that was on her use of private email. So the breakdown, 1,032 minutes on Trump's controversies compared to 488 minutes on Clinton's controversies, with 245 of those 488 minutes being about her email server. But don't worry, because the host of CNN's Reliable Sources, the good old Brian Stelter, respectfully aired snippets of Clinton's laughable criticisms on his show. To her credit, reporter Amy Chozick, who traveled with the Clinton campaign for the New York Times, pushed back. It was a little bit like it was our job to get Hillary elected, she said. Don't forget, they wanted to run against Donald Trump. They wanted him to get all the legitimate Republicans out of the way. Chozick also argued that if Clinton had desperately wanted to talk about the issues and not her email practices, she did a terrible job of granting interviews. The Times probably put in 50 interview requests to talk to her about jobs plans, economics, national security, foreign policy, etc. I asked to talk about her time at the Children's Defense Fund, her work with women. They were very cautious. They said no to all of that. I mean, one reason that Trump dominated the airtime is that Clinton refused to give a press conference for more than 9 months. And the press just took it. You know, what do? You can't complain about not getting press when you won't give time to the press. Apparently, the only thing she was worried about was having them herded like cattle and following her through town when she went to march and shake the hands of the serfs. You know, what this demonstrates, well, I mean, we can even back up. The press, they didn't punish her for not giving interviews. And by contrast, Trump had 15 or 16 in that time span. and granted a pile of interviews. So who do you think's going to dominate the airtime? It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. When you tell the press to kiss your butt and don't give them any interviews or press conferences, they're not going to pay attention to you. And all this demonstrates that the media display no self-respect when it suggested they were all Trump lackeys without a conscience for the country. Where's the fight? Where's the rebuttal? Where's the disgust with such a shameless falsehood? The chin stroking just underlines that they were in Clinton's pantsuit pocket, and they remain there even today. Plain and simple. Now, we're going to shift gears a minute here as I'm toggling backwards through my notes. I don't know why my notes are all backwards, but we're moving backwards tonight. So, something else of interest, and we're going to get to some of the bigger stories. Trust me, we're going to cover Trump at the UN. We're going to get there. But one of the things you're not hearing about that you need to know about right now. Israel has intercepted an Iranian-built unarmed aerial vehicle that breached the Bravo line that marks the Syrian demilitarized zone, firing one Patriot anti-ballistic missile stationed near the northern city of Safed on Tuesday. IDF spokesman Brigadier General Ronan Manelis stated the Hezbollah-operated drone took off from Damascus International Airport and was followed in real time by the Israel army before it crossed into the DMZ between Israel and Syria and was intercepted by one Patriot missile. The Iranian-built drone was used by Hezbollah to collect intelligence, Manelis said, adding that fighter jets were also scrambled but did not fire on the drone, which fell in the area of the Syrian town of Quneitra, I think that's how you pronounce it, controlled by the Assad regime. While the drone did not at any point cross into Israeli territory, the IDF will not allow any infiltration or attempt to infiltrate by any Iranian elements, be it Hezbollah or Shia militia group, to the Golan Heights. We will respond to every action very clearly, and we will act to prevent any future attempt, Manelis stated. Following the incident, the Army raised the threat level in its northern command, and while the IDF stated that it was not looking to escalate the situation by retaliating at this time, Lebanese media reported that the IAF carried out 2 air raids on Lebanese-Syria border east of the town of Sheba on Al-Rashaha Hill. The border with Syria has been tense since the war erupted in 2011, and Israel has carried out over 100 strikes against Hezbollah weapons convoys in Syrian territory over the past 5 years. With various heavily armed radical groups battling President Bashar Assad, Syria is Israel's most unpredictable and unstable neighbor and poses one of the largest risks for a sudden escalation. Now, Defense Minister Lieberman responded to the incident, saying that Israel will not tolerate any threats or attempts to harm the citizens of Israel. Anyone who attempts to harm our sovereignty, to harm our security, must know that they will pay a dear and expensive price for it. We are prepared for every scenario in every sector, he said. Israeli officials have repeatedly voiced their concern about Iran and its proxies, such as Hezbollah, entrenching themselves in Syria, and the IDF recently completed a large-scale drill in the country's north, with tens of thousands of soldiers drilling for a war with Iranian-backed Hezbollah. According to Lieberman, the interception testifies to the preparedness of the IDF and the defense establishment. Pardon me. Been having some voice issues the last couple of days. The transition from routine to emergency at a pace that we are living here is unprecedented, and I repeat that there is no more army more prepared at a professional level like the IDF. And today's readiness, despite all the publications and all the talk, is the highest readiness that has ever been. According to Ari Herzog, the former head of the Missile Defense Organization at the Ministry of Defense, the Patriot missile system was initially designed to intercept airplanes and is a very effective system and popular around the world. As you can see at this time, it is also effective against very low-flying unmanned aerial vehicles, Herzog said on a call organized by the Israel Project, adding that the Patriot 2 anti-aircraft system was the correct system to be chosen for this mission. He also stated that he expects Hezbollah to continue using reconnaissance drones against Israel, as it is one of the more effective ways to collect intelligence, explaining that the group uses them from time to time, and of course this is something that cannot be tolerated, and therefore interception was the only choice. He also stated that he expects Hezbollah to continue using reconnaissance drones against Israel. Yeah, we just said that. Why is my note duplicated? Time to fire an intern. Anyway, explaining that Hezbollah over the years has stockpiled unmanned air vehicles, which are designed and produced by Iran, using them mainly for reconnaissance missions. Israel has in the past used the Patriot system against suspicious aerial vehicles, most recently in April, when a Patriot intercepted another UAV which flew into Israel from Syria hours after Israel allegedly struck a Hezbollah arms depot near Damascus International Airport. The system was also used in July 2016 when 2 Patriot missiles were fired at a suspicious drone that crossed into Israeli airspace from Syria. Both missed their target and the unmanned aircraft returned to Syria. So we're 1 for 3 with Patriot missiles against the unmanned aircraft. I'd like a little better odds. But in August 2014, a Patriot missile successfully shot down a drone that entered Israeli airspace from the same region, the Quneitra region of Syria, close to the Israeli border. In a recent interview with the Jerusalem Post, Commander of the Aerial Defense Division, Brigadier General Haimovich, stated that UAVs are a big challenge due to their size, speed, and low flying altitude. Nevertheless, Israel's air defense systems are flexible enough to counter any threat, including UAVs. In mid-August, Israel carried out a test of its Patriot system focusing on the threats posed by UAVs and firing multiple interceptor missiles towards aerial targets over central Israel. With the Iron Dome, the Arrow, and David's Sling, Israel's aerial defense system provide a comprehensive protective umbrella able to counter the growing missile threats from short-range rockets to longer-range ballistic missiles fired at ranges between 40 to 300 kilometers. In other words, folks, Israel's saying they ain't playing. And they've had enough of the crap from Syria and anybody else that might want to take a shot at them from maybe Iran. And they're prepared. I mean, it's obvious. So, something to keep an eye on. Increasing activity with UAVs on the Israeli-Syria border. Who knows what could happen? Who knows what will happen? My favorite story of the week that we're going to touch on, and I guess, excuse me, and Rick's probably about to sling me up here and beat me with a wet cane or something, but Rick, can we go ahead and cue the commercial break? That way I don't have to break in the middle of this story. And we'll just we'll run it a couple minutes early, and then when we come back, I'll just go from there. That'd be great if we can do that, and if not, just tell me to shut up and keep going.
Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby.
All right, welcome back. Just a little programming reminder for you. Be sure to stay tuned. Coming up following me will be Jesse's POV, and then the Stafford Voice, and then America Off the Rails for your nightcap on KLRN Radio. All right, so here we go. My favorite story of the week. Nancy Pelosi was trying to hold a press conference on Monday, and, well, the way they worded it, let's just say that a protest erupted. She was basically hemmed up, pinned up, and accosted by a bunch of quote-unquote dreamers. And Nancy was just beside herself. She actually could not believe what was going on. They called her a liar. They called her all kinds of funny names that we're not going to go into on the air. If you watch the full video of it, I believe there was even a point where she was poked or prodded with a Mexican flag. She almost fell off the little podium, little platform podium they had set up for her, trying to back away from these people. It was really quite funny. And I think we have some audio of Nancy trying to tell these people about what they were doing. Don't we, Rick?
Yeah, Jurassic era Barbie kind of got
little overwhelmed, and she sounded a lot like this. I think we have the audio.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, she had actually, she was holding the conference with Barbara Lee and Jared Huffman, who are representatives from California. And the press conference was actually to call for the passage of the DREAM Act, which would allow recipients of the DACA program and other immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as minors to remain in the country. The protesters who interrupted the conference were calling for a clean DREAM Act, one that didn't make concessions to Republicans on border security and protections for a larger group of immigrants in the U.S. illegally than the bill would confer. So here, this is what gets me, okay? You talk about the ultimate in waving a middle finger in somebody's face. They show up and they harass Nancy Pelosi. Throw everything about what you like about Nancy Pelosi aside for a minute, or what you don't like about Nancy Pelosi. Throw it all aside for a minute. Who is there in the House of Representatives, who is there that you know that would go to the mat and fight tooth and nail for something they believe in more than Nancy Pelosi? Show me a Republican in the House that is that hardcore and committed and unwavering. Okay? I've said it before. If I had to go to war, I would want her, because she doesn't know how to quit and she knows how to win. I don't like her politics and I don't like her personally. But you can't deny what a driving force she is. And she is the best advocate in the House of Representatives that dreamers have. And they show up. Now, think about this, okay? These are people who were brought here illegally. They remain in our country illegally. They were given extended periods of time to get the paperwork going to be legal, and haven't. And they show up and start making more demands. It's not enough that we as a country spend $118 billion a year catering to illegal aliens. That's right, you heard it right. $118 billion a year. That's in education, that's in healthcare, that's in social programs, that's in education programs for adults, you name it. We're catering to them, to that tune. That's our taxpayer dollars. And these people have the nerve to show up. But on the other side, okay, now, don't get me wrong, I'm angry that they would do this. I'm angry that they think they're entitled. Okay? But on the other side of the coin, where was my thought process going here? I don't even know anymore. Oh, well, we'll come back to it. It's okay. You know, they were calling Pelosi a liar. Some of the protesters held signs that said Democrats are deporters. Pelosi tried to take control of the event back from them. She was telling them, "You've had your say, and it's beautiful music to our ears." She's trying to appease them, you know, because this is what she does. She will bend over backwards to do anything anti-American here. The interruptions continued, and she finally packed it in and just left. She said, if you don't want answers, we're just going to have to leave. It was terrible. The conference was actually hosted by an outfit called College Track, a program that helps youths from underserved communities get through high school and college. Now, their CEO, Elisa Salas, pledged to continue to help DACA recipients earlier this month after Attorney General Jeff Sessions rescinded the program. As the fate of DACA shifts, I'm cautiously hopeful, she said. There is a possibility that enough senators have shown their support for Dreamers to sway the vote. This might be the best chance that the DREAM Act has had since it was first introduced back in 2001. Under DACA, nearly 800,000 Dreamers. They shouldn't be called Dreamers. They should be called cash-and-inners, because that's what they're doing, is they're cashing in on our work, on our riches. The government takes from us to give to them. So nearly 800,000 Dreamers received work permits and deferral from deportation. About 690,000 Dreamers still hold DACA status. And folks, let me tell you something. We talked about it last week. I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks before, but I'm going to say it again, because Congress, unless you light a fire to them, they are going to legalize amnesty through this DREAM Act. You can bank on it. That's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be legalized amnesty via Congress. And if you think it's only going to be the 690,000 that hold Dreamer status under DACA, you are sadly mistaken. This is going to fan out. It's going to turn into 8 million, 10 million people being amnestied into the country, and then there's not going to be a damn thing we can do about it. According to the Migration Policy Institute, about 1.8 million people would be immediately eligible for benefits under the current version of the DREAM Act. If an impromptu conference after the incident, or in an impromptu conference after the incident, Huffman said, I understand why nothing we're doing is good enough for them. I don't. Let me tell people something here. If you cross into Mexico illegally, their laws are very strict and are very certain that when you cross the border illegally into Mexico and are caught, your minimum prison sentence is 10 years as an illegal immigrant. 10 years in a Mexican prison. Then you get the privilege of being deported. And if you think you're even taking the money that you had in your pocket with you when you crossed the border to start with 10 years ago, guess what? That's all forfeited to the Mexican government, no matter how much it is. They don't care if it's $1 or if it's $100,000 or if it's $1 million. It's theirs instantly. You're not getting it back. So you tell me where we're being so cruel. Point it out, because I don't see it. Now, this Huffman character said where we disagree is that we have an opportunity to protect hundreds of thousands of Dreamers while we work on the big picture because hundreds of thousands, 690,000 isn't a big enough picture for them. This is what I told you. It's going to fan into millions and millions being amnestied in. While immigrant rights groups side with Democrats on a national level, many are still critical of an increase in interior removals, deportations of people living in the U.S. during the Obama administration. There were so few deportations during the Obama administration that it's ridiculous to even talk about it. When we had the majority and President Obama was president, we passed the DREAM Act. We didn't pass a DREAM Act. The DREAM Act, or DACA, the DREAM Act never passed. DACA wasn't even an executive order. It's a damn memorandum. But they admit that it was a departure from what they had always said, that it has to be comprehensive immigration reform. See, and this is where the left skews the picture bigger than anybody knows. Okay? When the right says comprehensive immigration reform, it is not the same thing that when the left says comprehensive immigration reform. To the left, comprehensive immigration reform is dropping a couple of turnstiles at the border and not having it manned. That's all. We knew that this was going to be a bridge that had to be crossed. It's going to be a fight that has to be fought. Sadly, what we're seeing in Congress is that we have too many Republicans and not enough conservatives. And I promise you right now, when this happens, when it comes time to do the DREAM Act, they're going to pass it. We don't have enough conservatives that are willing to stand up and put Americans ahead of illegals. And I'm not sitting here doing the MAGA crap, so don't even start with me on that. This is simple and pinpoint. Illegal immigration costs our country money, which means it costs us as taxpayers money. That is my point. I'm not wearing a red hat. I'm not patting Trump on the back. Okay? Hell, Trump's the one telling Congress to legalize it. You know, he's basically turning his back on the core of one of his campaign promises. Okay? It is what it is. That doesn't mean I'm anti-Trump. That doesn't mean I'm pro-Trump when I talk like I'm talking. I have the ability to look at a single issue and stand on those merits alone. People need to engage their brains more and their feelings less. We might get somewhere as a country then. Some activists are incensed that Pelosi, along with Chuck Schumer, had dinner with President Trump at the White House last week to put together the baseline of a deal that aims to couple the DREAM Act protections with some of the border security enhancements that Trump has promised his supporters. Pelosi added that she understood the group's frustration, but that negotiations with the president are necessary because Trump has the signature. We have to pass the bill first. And this is Pelosi, okay? We have to pass the bill first. We've heard that before, right? Yeah. She said, I wish protesters would channel some of that energy into the Republican districts so we can pass the DREAM Act. But they don't want the DREAM Act, Pelosi said. That's the area of disagreement that we have in terms of tactic. But certainly we all agree that we should have comprehensive immigration reform. And again, just like I told you, they use those words, but they don't mean the same thing as when people like Jim Jordan use comprehensive immigration reform. Completely different meaning from the same exact words. The episode is an embarrassing one for Pelosi and Democratic leaders who had claimed a huge victory last week in securing the contours of the deal with Trump. The agreement hashed out between Pelosi, Trump, and Schumer was widely panned by Hispanic leaders on and off Capitol Hill. The critics were outraged that Pelosi hadn't fought harder earlier in the month to attach the Dreamer protections to a short-term budget package that funded the government and raised the debt limit. And those same voices hoping the Democrats would use their leverage to move a clean DACA fix later in the year are now speaking out in the wake of the Pelosi-Schumer agreement to accept enhanced security measures as part of the deal. How dare us defend our border? How dare us secure our border? How dare us want sovereignty? When did border security stuff get slipped into this conversation, and where is it going to lead once the alt-right begins raising their voices, said Luis Gutierrez, the Democrat from Illinois, Congress's most fervent immigration reform advocate. And the reason he's the most fervent is because La Raza pads his coffers in the Congress very well. And this man is all about tearing our borders down to anybody that wants to cross at any time, not just Hispanics. But he says Democrats are in a very good position to make sure that there is justice for dreamers, advocating to make the issue a part of must-pass budget legislation in December. Members of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus huddled for emergency meetings twice last week to discuss the agreement and their strategy moving forward. I wonder how many Republicans are in the Hispanic Caucus. I wonder. Underlying those talks, the Hispanic Democrats have been up in arms over Trump's frequent attacks on immigrants. What attacks? And how many say they simply don't trust the president to honor his vow to protect dreamers? Well, first of all, he should have never made a vow to protect dreamers. And backing up even further, there shouldn't be dreamers. To create dreamers was an end run around the immigration laws on the books in this country that President Obama did. So, Representative Raul Grijalva of Arizona, head of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, said there's an historical context to Trump and immigration and immigrants that I think always has to be in the front of your mind. And I wouldn't trust him, he said. Well, guess what? I don't trust you. And Americans don't trust you. We know you certainly do not have America's best interests at heart when you want to tear down our borders and violate our sovereignty just so more Hispanics can come into the United States. I like the idea of a merit-based immigration system. And I hope we end up going in that direction. I think we should be able to limit who comes here and who doesn't come here, and that they should have to be able to take care of themselves when they get here from day one without being a drain on taxpayers. Does that make me racist? Well, if it does, you better call my Hispanic mother and let her know. All right, so anyway, yeah, that makes me Hispanic too, if you're still scratching your head. Anyway, we need to get to Trump at the UN. look, again, I'm not anti or pro-Trump, okay? I am somebody that wants our president to do good. That's what I really want from any president, regardless of the letter that comes after their name, regardless of their party affiliation. I want our president to do good and to do right by the Constitution and the founders of this country. That's what I want from every president. When Donald Trump addressed the United Nations, I liked it. I liked the way that he stood for America. Okay? And I liked the way that he said, we're not going to tell you how to run your country. You know, that's not our job. Our job's not to come in and build your country into a mini America. Okay? Rick, let's go ahead and cue that first piece of audio. Let's listen to Trump for just a minute here.
We do not expect diverse countries to share the same cultures, traditions, or even systems of government. But we do expect all nations to uphold these two core sovereign duties: to respect the interests of their own people and the rights of every other sovereign nation. This is the beautiful vision of this institution, and this is the foundation for cooperation and success. Strong sovereign nations let diverse countries with different values, different cultures, and different dreams not just coexist, but work side by side on the basis of mutual respect.
Okay, so somebody point to me in that context what he said that was wrong. Okay? Every nation should have the sovereignty to control their borders the way they want.
Except
He's
us.
Except what, Rick?
Except us. They don't want us to.
Except us. Yes, of course. Of course. Except us. But here's what I like. I like that he went to bat for our sovereignty and basically said, do with yours as you will, and leave us alone to do with ours. I don't have a problem with that.
Seems rather libertarian, does it not?
It really kind of does. It really kind of does. Let's go ahead and hit that second. I know I'm getting short on time. Let's hit that second bite and hear it real quick too.
As President of the United States, I will always put America first. Just like you, as the leaders of your countries, will always and should always put your countries first.
Nazi. Oh, sorry.
Problems? Anybody?
He's going to get called a Nazi. You know it.
Oh, dude, yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, but what's actually wrong with that? I mean, let's look at Merkel, okay?
Do we have to?
Well, I mean, we don't have to actually physically look at her.
Thank God.
But is she putting the German people first? It's hard to make the argument that she is when you see what's going on in their country. But then you look at Poland, who refuses to take all these Middle Eastern refugees, and they have no problems. Their women aren't being raped and having acid thrown in their face, and their men aren't being jumped and beaten to death in the streets by gangs of Muslim immigrants. It's not happening in Poland because they won't let them in the country, because they actually are looking out for the Poles. So why is this so bad? I'm scratching my head at the people that, point to me where it's bad that he wants America to do right and that he wants to follow the laws of our country and maintain a sovereign nation.
But the poem on the Statue of Liberty says that's what's wrong with it, according to the left.
Well, that poem, first of all, didn't even get put on the Statue of Liberty until much, much later after the statue was already there. I forget the exact year that the poem was put on there. I think it was in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah, it hasn't been there that long, but don't confuse people with facts. They don't care about that.
I know. Again, it comes down to using brains instead of feelings again, and it just bothers me to no end that people are going to be negative against Trump no matter what he says, even if it's something that they supported previously from another president. But it's just Trump saying it now, so it's bad. Okay, again, I'm not a pro or a con Trump guy. I'm just a guy that wants the president to do the right thing. And I can deal with people that are pro-Trump, and I can deal with people that are anti-Trump, as long as they're willing to engage their brains and park their feelings. And that's it in a nutshell, man. I don't know how much more plain I can make it. I want to see our nation thrive again. And we did not thrive under 8 years of Obama. We did not thrive under 8 years of Bush. So my question is, if we didn't thrive for 16 years, split evenly between the GOP and the Democrats, why not try something different? I mean, can it be any worse? We're $20 trillion in debt. Congress keeps kicking the can down the road. Whatever. I mean, eventually we'll turn into Greece and we're going to go broke, and, China's going to want their money. Eventually. They're talking about auditing the DOD now. How about we audit the Fed? Let's audit the Federal Reserve.
They can't audit the Federal Reserve. They're too busy running in there like Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, well,
Except instead of show me the money, it's give me the money.
Yeah. And now we got this last-ditch effort to save healthcare that I can't even go into tonight because we're at the top of the hour again here. But, there's pros and cons. Read the bill, okay? Go find what's in the bill. It's called the Graham-Cassidy bill for healthcare. Go find it and read it and actually learn what's in it. Okay, it's not all bad. It's not all good. Rand Paul will not vote for it. Please go to Rand Paul's website and read why he won't vote for it. Don't just start calling him an obstructionist just because he's willing to stand on his principles. I like the fact that he won't waver on his principles. I respect people that have principles and stick to them. But as I said, we can't go into this in detail because we are back at the top of the hour. And it's about time to thank you for being here. And I am so grateful that you put up with my scratchy voice. I hope that we are back to normal next week. And as always, if you like the show, please tell your friends. If your friends like the show, you need new ones. But they and you are welcome here every Wednesday with me on the Conservative Curmudgeon Show. Thank you for tuning in. God bless and peace.
Red, white, and blue is our way of life. Never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights. We're Americans.